What is up? What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing? Check it out without a doubt. Man, I am getting deep into this. Tyler Perry sued for $260 million. I thought it was $400 million. God, a lawyer legal breakdown. This lady is a lawyer. This is the first time I ran across her channel because I've been doing research and different things, trying to figure out what in the world is going on with these high-ranking people in this industry. Tyler Perry, Oprah, the movie dude, I forgot his name again, Puffy. You know, what are they doing? I know what they're doing. I already know what they're doing, man. I figured it all out. You know, hey, I'm going to leave that to the end. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I played a little bit of this, but I think we're going to start right here where it needs to be started at. So hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Pause. Oh, man, that's my boy. That's my boy. Hey, it's hard wearing so many hats, man. I'm wearing all the hats. Hey, y'all hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that bell. My man called me, and I had to talk to him. Let's check it out, man.
Tyler Perry lawsuit. That is Derek Dixon versus Tyler Perry. Let us know where you're viewing us from when you drop in the chat. Drop your questions below.
Washington, D.C., my guy.
Y'all better get in here and enjoy this because for the last, I guess, it's not even been a full week. Y'all have been saying, can you break it down? Can you break it down? I don't have no voice. I got my little green screen behind me. Apologies. I don't have no voice. I am exhausted, but I'm going to break this down for y'all. Now, I'm not going to read it page for page like others have done because we are already there. Yes, this is the jail cell. This is my backdrop for right now. I'm not saying Tyler Perry is going to jail, but I'm in New York and I am covering the Diddy case. So this is Diddy's jail cell behind us. So that's what's going on there. But listen, I'm going to break this case down. I'm going to tell you right now, different than any of the others that you've seen. So come on in, share this with a loved one, hit that subscribe. And hold on, turn on my settings right here. And I'm gonna tell you in just a second why this breakdown is going to be different. This that I know that you've seen. Come on, you go a little faster. Come on, YouTube, hit that like as you come on in. I was up all night reading. It was 46 pages. I've read all 46. No. You don't need to read them all. This video is going to be under 30 minutes because that's how my ADD and sleep schedule are set up. Oh, there we go. Gosh, I don't know why this is moving so slow. Is my internet okay? Yes. Oh, I'm freezing up. I am freezing up. Hold on. All right, let me turn off the other Wi-Fi. Got it.
Oh, man.
I'm going to see if this helps.
Going to be doing all that.
Other windows, close them out real quick.
Man, I thought I'm the only one having problems.
Okay, hit that like, come on in, wave if you feel it. All right, so let me go ahead and just give you the breakdown. Again, I won't be reading the petition page for page because there's other pages that have done that. It's now been out for a while. What I will be doing is breaking it down and letting you know why we're going to follow this case, what I anticipate is going to happen with this case, and why I think this case is the result of what I'm going to start calling the Diddy Effect. By the Diddy Effect, I mean the results of Cassie suing Diddy civilly for assault and a variety of other things, and how Cassie's lawsuit resulted in her receiving $20 million from him literally within 24 hours, and how that might be seen in other cases or at least be attempted and strategized by other lawyers in the future. Now, before we go there, I want to go ahead and just share with you guys. Ooh, here we are. Don't forget, you can always, let's remove this. There we go. Where is this? Where is this other window? I think I got too many windows open. We need to remove. Here we are. Come on, let's get this window back up. Not that one. Come on. Hold on, let's get these windows adjusted. My apologies. That don't have nothing to do with nothing. But now I see why this is moving slow. Jesus, it's this Harlem internet. I'm sorry, y'all. No, literally. We're going to delete this. There we go. We don't need that either. All right, here we are. There we are. All right. You guys can always go to my website. Don't forget, you can go to SimoneRedwine.com, schedule a consultation there. I get a lot of emails where people will tell me there. All right. Let's just hop on into it. So
this is where we need to start at right here. Here we go. Here we go.
Here we are. Mr. Perry. Hold on, dear. Mr. Perry and Mr. Dixon. So the gist of it is that Derek Dixon is claiming that he was actually harassed, actually assaulted, that he was in a hostile work environment and suffered a variety of other issues as an actor who'd worked on some of Tyler Perry's films and projects. More specifically, all right, actor Derek Dixon, who's best known for his role as Dale on BET's The Oval, as well as Ruthless, he's filed a civil suit in LA County Superior Court, filed June 13th of 2025, seeking $280 million in damages against the mogul Tyler Perry. I'll make sure I'm not lagging for you guys. You get some. I'm fuzzy. No, I am fuzzy. I am fuzzy. Don't worry. Just stick with me. Okay. I'm not going to be putting on the screen. You need anything else you need to see. It's just going to, you guys, I know you're telling me I'm fuzzy. It is the Harlem internet.
Oh my God.
This should help. Okay. I shouldn't be so fuzzy. All right. It's coming back. Don't worry. Actor Derek Dixon, who's best known for his role as Dale on BET's The Oval and on the show Ruthless, he's filed a civil lawsuit in LA County Superior Court, which is civil court only, on June 13th of 2025 against Tyler Perry. He's seeking $260 million in damages against the mogul, as well as Tyler Perry Studios. Now, here's the breakdown of the legal claims. Again, I'm not going to go page for page over the petition, but I'm going to show you excerpts when it's relevant. The legal claims are this. Dixon alleges that Perry exploited Perry's significant industry influence, engaging in a coercive, what's called quid pro quo, sexual harassment scheme. Quid pro quo is, you do this for me, I'll give you a role. You do this, you do a little nastiness, I'll keep you in the movie. I won't kill you off. That's what he's claiming. Quid pro quo, offering career advancement, that Tyler Perry offered career advancement in exchange for actual compliance. The lawsuit includes numerous counts. So it's quid pro quo harassment. That's simply where you're saying, do this actual favor for me. You can keep your job, or maybe I'll promote you, or maybe I'll give you a raise. He's also claiming that there's a hostile work environment. He claims actual battery and assault by Mr. Perry, as well as intentional infliction of emotional distress and retaliation. Now, according to the court documents, Perry threatened Dixon's job and his role on the Oval if he failed to engage with different sexual innuendos. Now, here's the timeline. I need you guys to pay close attention to the timelines and the locations. Okay, this is why this analysis is different. So, Dixon claimed that he met Perry in 2019, that Perry spotted Dixon at an opening party for Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. He was working there. I think he was like a caterer or something, but he was there working, and then cast him in Ruthless, and then later in the Oval. Now, here's what was interesting about that timeline. They meet in September of 2019. Allegedly, Tyler tells him, you're so handsome or whatever, you'd probably be a great actor. And he's, wanted to do acting. Derek has wanted to do acting. So literally about 2 months later, within those first 2 to 3 months, Tyler then allows him to audition for Ruthless and cast him. There's no funky business there, okay? But he casts him. And then 2 months later, Tyler buys him a car. Now, what was weird to me in the petition is they just skedaddle over the part where the first 4 months of meeting him, Tyler buys him a car. Now, I can't think of an instance where another grown woman would buy me a car and I wouldn't be like, what are her expectations here? Yeah, I don't think I'm frozen. I'm sorry. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm going to keep going. And then if I have to redo this video, then I will. There we go. If I have to keep going. Yeah, you should be good. Yes. See, Tyler Perry, exactly. Tyler Perry buys him a car. Like in the first 3 months. So the car was purchased, I want to say it was in either December or January. They meet in September. He's cast within 2 to 3 months. And then by January to December, but December to January, Tyler has purchased him a car. Now, there has been innuendo about Mr. Perry and what he does in the bedroom, whatever. But I want to know, as a man who's straight, this Derek Dixon guy, I need you to think critically, sir. Why would another grown man be buying you a car? Just keep it. And that was before the Oval or any of that. That was in the first few months. Again, he got him like a little stand and roll on Ruthless initially. Then in January, it says January of 2020, Dixon attends a private gathering at Perry's Georgia home and was served many alcoholic drinks. He stays overnight, and he alleges that Perry entered into his bed uninvited, rubbed on his inner thigh, and Perry allegedly declined Dixon's consent when Dixon tried to leave, basically tried to keep him there. Then later in the year, around mid-2020, Dixon receives his character in the Oval. Again, you had this incident with this guy. You were not a cast member at the time of your incident, but you take a role from him. We're just sticking with the facts here, guys, and we're going to analyze it.
Right.
And Dixon's character in the Oval was deliberately written as a desperately gay guy, just super gay, allegedly to mirror Perry's desires and traits in real life, according to Dixon. That's the allegation. So that is mid-2020. Then a year later, Dixon alleges that there is a second, more aggressive assault at Perry's residence. So after the first assault, he comes back. He spends more time there one-on-one. And it was at this time that Perry allegedly forcefully removed his undies, groped him, and Dixon had to verbally resist and physically move away from him. Now, Dixon claims, as a result, now the two physical incidents we're talking about happened in 2020 and 21. Dixon claims, though, as a result of this, he states that he suffered emotional trauma, PTSD, depression, anxiety, and physical symptoms. He also filed a complaint with the EEOC in 2024, but no action was taken. He's alleging hostile work environment and other things. And at that point in 24, he claimed $400K in losses. Now, allegations are really salacious. The main ones are there was a bedroom ambush in 2020 at Tyler Perry's house. Then in 21, again at Tyler Perry's house, there was another assault. And then there's these various text messages. Now, he claims with the text messages that this was basically, there were various threats by Tyler. Like Tyler threatened, like, oh, I could kill off anyone's character when I want to. I keep these people on their toes. That type of innuendo. Now, Tyler Perry, of course, says that this is a scam. This is fabricated. And Tyler Perry's team says that this is a shakedown, effectively. And they've also used the word extortion. Now, in this lawsuit, Dixon lays out what appears to be extensive evidence of assault allegations. And he does it via text message. There's some explicit ones. Excuse me. I'm not necessarily going to put them on the screen, but the gist are, he'll talk about like, oh, you got to be good at saying no and, different weird stuff like that. There's no doubt. I'm not doubting that those text message exchange existed. But when I read this lawsuit, I said, okay, here, guys, something in the milk ain't clean. Something, hit that like as y'all come on in here. Something in the milk isn't clean. Yeah, Alonda says, I can't understand what he thought would happen. Why does everyone assume Derek is straight? Well, Derek stated in the petition, he talked about having a girlfriend. I think that's why people assume that Derek is straight. And Derek, pursuant to how this petition was written, wants people to think that he is straight. Here's the kicker. As I was reading this, okay, there's this allegation here. There's this section here I'm going to put on the screen. It says, when they talk about the allegations of the assault, Dixon says he was only able to escape after he escalated the situation by promptly changing the subject. He talked about the different innuendo and how he states, quote, in the next paragraph, number 20, he says, the day after the assault, this was the first one, Mr. Perry called and texted Mr. Dixon relentlessly saying, hey, I tried to call you, call me. And quote, I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can. Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered blah, blah, blah. And then it says, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the S assault while blaming it on other things. Perry continued, he didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. Y'all, this is the page and this is the paragraph that had me stop and say, wait a minute, I need y'all's opinion on this. When you see how this is written, this is all in quotes in paragraph 20. It says saying, quote, tried to call me. I really need to talk to you. Please call us. So this says to me, these are specific text messages, as well as it goes on to say in quotes that he says, didn't know why he would do that. Maybe was self-sabotaging, etc. This says to me, there's a lot more text messages and or recorded calls, because the only time in a petition you put something in quotes is if you are discussing it verbatim. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting to see what kind of evidence they have up their sleeve, right? Now, DJ Zombie is saying it's a money grab. But here's the other thing that I was thinking about. I was like, this is just so, what weirded me out is I'm like, okay, I'm a big believer under the law. If you look at the facts, right? If something doesn't make sense in a lawsuit, it's because either you don't have all the facts or somebody's lying. I don't know which one it is yet, but I'm going to tell you which of the facts had me spinning my wheels. So again, he says Tyler Perry meets him at this event, hires him, gives him the role on Ruthless. Cool. 2 months later, for no apparent reason, buys him a car. So clearly he's like, must have been articulating the need for a car. Tyler buys him a car. Tyler then assaults him in a way. This was the first assault he was able to escape from by changing the subject, but assaults him. And then he takes the role on the Oval and is there for at least 6 seasons on the Oval. Okay, 6 seasons on the Oval. But then I look at that timeline, and we all know Tyler Perry Productions and Tyler Perry live in Atlanta. Everything that transpired pretty much happens in Atlanta. So I'm looking at this like, why is this lawsuit filed in California? Hit that like, guys, as you enter. Hit that like. Well, I believe this was all strategy. This lawsuit was filed in California because California is the most advantageous state if you're going to be accusing someone of any of these things. I actually have a ho-hum girl. I've talked about her before. She was a real loose girl. She was a real wild woman. And she sued one of her employers for sexual harassment and got one of the largest verdicts in the state at the time, multiple $1 million. Now, personally, she came to my office and asked me what I represent her. I'd be like, I don't know, girl, because you do some freaky stuff. And I'm not sure that this wasn't your boyfriend who stopped your allowance and then made you sue. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened here with Derek. I'm saying California is where you run to, whether you have a weak lawsuit or you want to just make sure that you get paid. California is where you want to go because you have the most generous juries. Also, the way in which this lawsuit was structured, this is what I call the Diddy Effect. Remember, Cassie got her 24-hour settlement because she sued as an employee. So did Derek. So what happens is here, Derek's lawsuit, this lawsuit has now triggered Tyler Perry's employment law insurance policies that he has for any and all companies that he owns that Derek has ever worked for. As a result, here we go. As a result, there's way more money available. He doesn't have to worry about going later to collect assets like the girl had to do who sued the game years ago for assault. And now she's having him foreclose and sell his home to pay the debt. No, just like State Farm would help you if you were in an auto accident. There's different insurance underwriters that underwrite employment law claims. So you get a check from an insurance company when it's time to resolve the claim. And it takes the case out of Tyler Perry's hands, because when he turns it over to the insurance company, the claims adjuster has complete authority to settle. Even if Tyler Perry's like, I didn't do this, I'm innocent. If the claims adjuster that's insuring the claim says, no, these facts are just really bad. Look at these text messages. It looks terrible. That claims adjuster could say, hey, we're going to just give him something. Keep that in mind. Give him something to go away. Then, as I read this petition more carefully, this came up. So again, yes, Tiki asked the right question. Tiki said, don't you have to file? Don't you have to file where you live? Heck yes, you do. Tyler Perry lives in Georgia. This guy, though, Derek, lives in California. It doesn't go by where the plaintiff lives. It goes by either where the conduct took place and or where the defendant lives. Now, if it's a situation like defamation where you can say it happened on the internet, then there's flexibility there. But the true venue is likely Georgia because he was an actor in Georgia. He was on the set in Georgia. He accepted the roles in Georgia. And according to him, both assaults occurred in Georgia. So I'm like, what in the world is going on? And then here we are. I figured it out. Yeah, there we go. Make it bigger. Ooh, put that back. Here we are. I was like, oh, I done figured this out. It says right here, paragraph 177, he says, on or about October of 2023, Tyler Perry finally contacted Dixon, indicating that he was going to finish one of the film projects that was contracted in January of 24, and that he would be able to start working on selling the show, Losing It. He said, quote, Perry was just hoping that the statute of limitations would run on Dixon's sexual assault claims before closing the door on Dixon's hope and on the quid pro quo. In other words, this is why this man has filed in California. California is not the proper jurisdiction, but it's too late for him to file this lawsuit in Georgia. He would have needed to file within 2 years of the assaults. The assaults, according to him, happened. The last one was in 21. He's way past that. But California has a statute that allows, when you're making these kind of allegations, much more time. Much more time. He's got much more time under California. In addition, let me pull this down. In addition, when I read some more about it, I was like, wait a minute. Some of his allegations, he himself said he did not even move to California. Derek didn't move to California until 2023, which again would be more than 2 years ago or more. Well, Derek is trying to allege that Tyler Perry continued to flirt with him and have quid pro quo via text message or what have you thereafter, because he's trying to get California to be the right jurisdiction. But here is what's interesting. So in other words, if this really happened, Georgia courts are where it should be resolved. But Derek's attorney knew if they went to Georgia court, not only is it too late, but he can't sue as an employee in Georgia. Because under some of the facts here, he was not an employee. He was an independent contractor. Under Georgia law, independent contractors can't sue for sexual harassment. There goes the majority of his claim. You can't sue for sexual harassment if you're an independent contractor in Georgia. California lets you, but Georgia doesn't. So in Georgia, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Shay. So in Georgia, he could still sue for things like breach of contract if, Tyler didn't. Sorry, guys. He could still sue for breach of contract if Tyler didn't pay him pursuant to the contract or any of that. But what he can't get is he can't get sexual harassment money. He's also trying to get treble damages under California's act that says that this is gender-based. That would also allow him to get his attorney's fees paid, even though his attorney took the case on contingency fee basis. Here's the other big kicker. He wouldn't be able to trigger that employee. He probably, it's trusty, but he likely wouldn't be able to trigger the employee policy if he weren't an employee, if he was just an independent contractor. But last but not least, y'all, See, California law, this is why most people want to run to California for their personal injury lawsuits. And I can't blame you. As a lawyer, if I'm representing a plaintiff, take me to California, give me so I can get these millions. But there's a huge difference when it comes to civil courts for these kinds of things in Georgia versus California. So in both states, the standard that you got to meet to be found for the other side to be found liable is still what's called preponderance of the evidence, which just means 51%. Literally, if you put the facts on two scales and someone's like, oh no, I think they're equally believable, then Tyler Perry would be found not guilty, or not liable. But but if they find that it is just 1% more likely that Tyler actually did this stuff, then Derek could prevail. But in Georgia, it takes 12 jurors to agree unanimously. In California, you only need 9 of the 12. So only 75% of the jurors have to actually believe Derek in California. And in California, the statute of limitations, he's trying to argue, hasn't expired. It has. It has. And majority of these allegations are that Tyler, sexually harassed him. But then he's also saying that he then in turn, that Tyler gave him a role, extended his role, and gave him a raise. Now that can still be sexual harassment, but it's going to be much harder to prove, right? Okay, this guy's harassing you. You're not interested in him, but he's giving you a raise. And now you're claiming he only gave you a raise to try and extend the statute of limitations. Why? Because you knew it had expired. But then he also says that he sold a show to Tyler and that Tyler bought it just as part of the sexual harassment scheme. Huh? Girl, what? Girl, what? It says Tyler needs to go find him someone who actually wants him. Ain't that all of us? Ain't that all of us? So I don't have a problem believing that some of the things that he said happened to him. What I'm speaking about, though, is the strategy legally. I want you to follow the strategy, because what's likely about to happen is going to be wrapped up in a bunch of motions, boring motions where we're not really going to get to the tea and to the facts, because Tyler's team is going to be fighting to dismiss it, saying California is inappropriate. Bring this thing over here to Georgia, because he knows when he gets to Georgia, it has to be dismissed. In addition, Derek claimed towards the end of his allegations in the petition that he sold a show to Tyler, and that Tyler bought it just to pacify him as the sexual harasser, because Tyler knew that Tyler actually for 2 years couldn't actually sell and pitch it, but that basically Tyler was selling him dreams. Now, here's the weird thing about that allegation. Everyone, I think most people in the industry know that Tyler has a pitch deal. I think it's with Viacom. I can't remember who. But whenever you sell a project to someone who has a 2-year or whatever pitch deal, it just means they can only pitch to Viacom in that 2 years. It doesn't mean they're trying to hold your project on the back burner. But what it does mean is that they simply only can sell it to these people, or they have to offer it to those people first before they offer it to others. In other words, the allegations that, Tyler just, bought my project just to pacify me, those facts also support the fact that it sounds like he was also benefiting financially from Tyler, but that at some point that financial well began to run dry. Well, it was in 2024 that he alleges that he started going to therapy and he realized all of this was too much. Tyler had not physically done anything to him, but that he expresses his concerns to Tyler, and that Tyler's employer then said, first, Tyler's lawyer reached out and said, Tyler and Tyler's lawyer discussed that this should be medical leave, that you can go out on paid medical leave, and let's just tell everyone that that's what you're on. Which, hey, yeah, if you're an employee, that's exactly what you should do. Don't y'all dare quit. You don't quit. You take that medical leave, because it's literally, it comes under workers' compensation. So you can get paid under that, etc. He says he did that, and then they fired him. So that's part of the hostile work environment claim. Now, that claim was in 2024, if that actually happened, because he was a cast member. That claim's valid, but that claim again would have to be heard in Georgia, not California with all this other rigmarole. So in the end, the way that the lawsuit was structured, I think, is what makes many people, especially lawyers who are reading it, wonder, is this the shakedown from the 260 million, which is a totally arbitrary number for someone who wasn't even quite making 400,000. Personally, me, you don't put a number like that on there unless you're trying to get the media to cover it, which they cover it because it's Tyler Perry. But what you do put in there generally is this case meets the threshold because we are suing for the jurisdictional minimum, which I don't know if it's $1 million for that court or whatever it is. You say, I'm suing for at least 1 million, and you let the court decide. But then the other thing that struck me that made me say, I don't know, something in this milk ain't clean with this petition was the way in which at one point in the story, Derek says that he learns that another actor, Christian Keys, y'all leave Christian alone. He's so fine. Let's not upset him. He deserves to have every day to be happy. He said that Christian Keys allegedly made claims against Tyler and successfully settled him. As an attorney, when I read that, I absolutely felt like, hold on. If that happened, that was confidential. And male victims should have the same levels of protection as females. So how dare you, if that in fact happened, out that man? If he didn't want his name to be out there, who the hell are you to do it? I feel like that was trifling. And I feel like it really runs across the ethical lines. How would y'all feel if you were secretly had a settlement against an employer that you're a straight person, you have a settlement against your employer, and some little knucklehead who's running behind you trying to apparently get some money. Because you're talking about, he got some money over there. You don't mind your fucking business. Mm-hmm. Go on over there, Derek. See that, Derek, that might be your problem. I don't think you got no friends, Derek, because your friends would have told you that. Even Cassie, when Cassie wrote her complaint, when she was going to include certain situations about her friends, like the little girl that was dangled off the balcony allegedly, she called that girl and said, hey, can I put your name in here? And the girl said no, and she didn't. That lawyer could have told that same doggone story without putting Mr. Key's name in there. Yeah, don't bring any mess over here. So if this man, Derek, doesn't have a bunch of allies in the industry backing him up and things like that, it could be because he's over here doing funny business. Now, I don't know if that was his decision or his lawyer's decision, because it's the lawyer that drafts the petition. But that lawyer knew better. Yeah, don't bring any mess over here. So don't bring mess over here about the queen. Thank you. I love it. But in the end, this is absolutely a lawsuit to follow because it's got all kind of juicy stuff in there, right? It's got the allegations. It's got various claims. And what will be discoverable if this moves forward is that Derek Dixon's lawyer will be able to subpoena the settlement records of all prior settlements, if any, that Mr. Perry has done for similar things. If it's for sexual harassment, hostile work environment, any of that, that will become discoverable evidence here. And he can even depose those people. All of that is relevant. In addition, California has a very convenient law as well for Mr. Dixon, which is this. In the event that he's able to get a settlement, even if it's just like, hey, let's just get some nuisance money over here. And that's actually where I see this lawsuit going. If Mr. Dixon is able to get some money, it might be just a little bit of nuisance money and then a dismissal. Why? Because when insurance companies see issues like the statute of limitations issue here, they will fight till the end. They say, look, before I cut a check for $1 million, I am going to file motions to dismiss because you should have been filed this. The statute has passed. I'm going to appeal it. I'm going to take it all the way to the state Supreme Court. So in turn, they may be able to get Derek's lawyer may be able to get him a settlement and some money on the table. Now, if he does that in California, California has a very convenient law for Mr. Dixon. That law states, that law states that where is here, there are allegations of discrimination or sexual harassment. That settlement, any settlement that you obtain cannot be confidential. Therefore, Derek can run around and talk about all the facts, sell a book, make his own movie based on what he went through in any of the allegations and claim. The only thing that can be kept confidential is the dollar amount of the settlement, but he cannot be silenced. And any agreement that would be drafted that has a provision that says he can't share his facts, tell his story, would be invalid, because under California law, they have a law that basically says other people should be warned about trifling bosses. So if you've been discriminated against by a company or a boss or whatever, you get to yell it from the mountaintops, and no more will they be able to silence people by saying, hey, you can either take this check or sign away your confidentiality rights. So she's the one says, I'll take any questions real quickly. Says, it says, Simone, I want you to expose others' lies about the law. Sure. Yeah, I do that for sure. Tyler will settle. Okay, let's see. Tyler will settle, but this will activate others who were afraid to say something. I believe there's more victims. Hey, and that's the time to come out. And listen, and if you are a victim, this is what I would say. If you're a victim and you're ready to come out, like cockroaches from underneath the sofa in the projects, not all projects, just one of the dirty ones. If that's what you want to do,
oh my God,
make sure you vet your employment attorney. You want a wig door, or you want to call someone like me, and I will structure you a legal team, because so many people, they just go to maybe a TV lawyer or whoever they know who ain't won a doggone case. Look at these Diddy cases right now. There are a number of civil attorneys who've had multiple clients against Diddy, and they had nary one settlement. But people keep going to those same people because they don't know any better. Hit that like. Will he get hit with the RICO? I don't see enough for RICO yet. I could see a lot of sexually harassing. I could see a lot. What am I not understanding? You want me to expose other lies about the law? Okay, well, we're going to expose some lies. It says, I wonder if Tyler Perry will have a bunch of settlements similar to Sharon Tribe. Well, now we know, though. If they settle under Georgia law, we'll never, ever know. But if they settle under California or New York law, those are two states that have that provision that says you can't silence me. If you harass me, if you discriminate against me, you cannot silence me. So let me see if I have any final questions, class, before we adjourn for the night. It says, regardless of the case, I appreciate California, me too, having laws like that. Too many companies and employees are able to push everything under the rug. Also, here's the thing. Keep in mind, if the case gets dismissed as a result of statute of limitations, that doesn't mean it's not a valid case. It doesn't mean he's not telling the truth or there's not merit behind the claim. It just means it took too long to get there. Heck, that's what happened with Cassie and her being drugged and beat at the hotel. Diddy made the video go away, and it did not reappear until after the statute of limitations. So that happens. But yeah, I did. I said victims coming out of the coming out of the thing like cockroaches. Sure do. Sure do. Yeah, that's what I do. I use analogies. So if your feelings are hurt, well, you'll be okay. You'll be just fine. The law is very boring, and I am playful. So could you explain how past settlements can be shared? Here's how past settlements can be shared. So during case discovery, you're allowed to literally ask for, you can say, Mr. Perry, I want documentation of all settlements that you've had in the last 5 years pertaining to, you can say employment law, you can say anything related to claims similar to the ones there. They are going to object to it, but they're required to provide it. Now, it's not necessarily admissible in court. Usually settlements are not admissible in court with other people, settlements with other people, because they don't want to discourage companies from settling. But where it's helpful is, baby, that's where you're going to find your witnesses. Not only is that where you're going to find your witnesses, that's where you will potentially find your punitive damages. Punitive damages are where you can say, wait a minute, this man's been filling on everybody's booty. He's been on everybody's booty, and he's been doing this for years, and he's not been held accountable. So jury, we need you to punish him in a way that's going to now teach him a lesson, because previously he was just booty filling, cutting checks, moving on, and making people keep quiet. Like the video. Thank you so much. Let me see. So I hope that answers your question. Chocolate Beauty, it says, since a lot of TP actors are not a part of the union, do they still have employment protections? Great question. No, you just do not have the same. They're not the same. And Georgia does not protect. California has the best protections. Now, if you are an actor in a like a recurring role, you have certain employee protections generally under the law, right? Because the production company, it controls your schedule and the script and all that fun stuff. But if you're just like a stand-in and it's just a role, or you're just an extra, you're an independent contractor. You're in for the day, you're out. And that's where, if you are that independent contractor in Georgia, you cannot sue for sexual harassment. You can sue for other stuff, but not that. All right. It says, I believe he has a case because the harassment continued after he moved to California. That's the key. That's what he's going to have to show. One, it continued into California. And then he's going to have to show, though, that the nexus is California and not Georgia. Because right now, based on the facts, the only thing that changes when he went to California, Tyler was text messaging him. I think Tyler's legal team is going to be like, hey, that's not enough for California to govern, because my company where he worked with me and all of that, my company is based in Georgia. He hasn't even articulated where they went on didn't even see like a date where it was a problem, where there were any issues in California. So basically the only nexus that he has to California is he's saying he moved to California, and he says Tyler Perry is a resident of California. No, he's not. I bet Mr. Perry's tax returns say different. California has some of the highest taxes in the United States. It would be malpractice for Mr. Perry's accountant to list California or to structure his life as California being his residence. I think Tyler has said all types of ways, Georgia is his home, blah, blah, blah. So while he may have a rental property or, hotels that he stays at frequently in California, the argument is California is not his residence, Georgia is. Yeah, it says we need to bring back the song Georgia by Ludacris for this case. His LLC and his corporation. Okay, Tyler Perry's LLC and corporation is in California. And but TPS, who's being sued, let's see where it says in here. Because where I recall is TPS, who's being sued, was Georgia. Hold on, let's see. We got it. It is, what is it here? You're going back too far. We want, here we go. Parties. Tyler Perry is, he says that he says that Perry is a resident of the state of California, but that doesn't make it true. Because you can't be a resident of two states. And Tyler Perry is going to pick Georgia because Georgia's taxes are so much cheaper. Where was that? Here we are. He states, what is that? Defendant TPS. Next page. Oh gosh, it's not staying. It's California or TPS. I mean, it's saying that the plaintiff was claiming that Perry's residence is there, but it is not. Yeah, he's saying it's state of California and that he has extensive business contacts, but the business itself is not a California company. It says it's doing business in California. That's not the same, and headquartered in Georgia. Here's what doing business in California means. It means that he may have some films or something there, but none of the films that Derek was on were California films. So I'm glad that you asked that to give me a chance to just triple check that. It says it doesn't matter if he owns homes in various states. His home of residence will be Georgia because it's cheaper for him. Yeah, that's right. But again, they're really trying to get California the residents. And I have to say, California protects plaintiffs and protects employees better than probably any other state in America. Hit that like. Any other state in America. So there are protections there. But I do believe that based on Derek coming on out and saying what he stated and filing this petition, others will be there. It's just a matter of when and what their facts are going to look like. Because then we can compare them as we did with Jane versus Cassie in the Diddy trial and so forth. So sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. I might actually redo this and repost a version of this video just as a straight up video because of the technical difficulties. But drop your questions below. We will be following this case. And let me know what other cases you want me to follow. Of course, we got Fat Joe coming up this week as well. And I will be there live and in person in New York for closing arguments in the Diddy trial. Thanks so much for joining and watching. I'm your legal bestie, attorney Simone, and this is Girl Is It Legal on YouTube.
Man, I need to. I'm going up there, man, and I'm gonna check out everybody I'm gonna be out there yelling, who got a YouTube channel? I need to talk to everybody that got a YouTube channel. Hey, I think I'm going back up there, man. I gotta find out. Let me find out real quick when is the closing arguments going to be. What's today's date? Shoot, y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, take it light, take it slow. I ain't even say nothing at the closing. Long story short, man, this is why I like to check out other channels, because she laid down some great information and everything about the guy. But I'm telling you like this, man, if you hunting for money and you just throwing it out there like women do, well, when I was growing up, women sleep with men for money, or whatever you want to call that. I'm not a hooker. I'm not a streetwalker, but I'm gonna just do it for the money. If you back in my day, it wasn't no man. So now men doing it to other men. Oh, he liked men. He knew he liked men. If I know you like men, I'm gonna say, look here, man, let me tell you something. We're gonna do what we need to do here, because we at work, but I ain't interested. Comprende? Do you understand? If I gotta take it a little further, we're gonna do it. That type of thing. I think he kind of threw it out there a little bit, took it back. Threw it out there a little bit, took it back. He threw it out there a little bit. Oh, now I can get a lawsuit for you. That's what I think. Hey, y'all tell me what y'all think about the dude, man. Even though Tyler Perry overstepped his bounds, but when you pursuing, girl or boy, don't make it so bit. When you pursuing and you like somebody, you gotta kind of step over that bound a little bit. You feel me? You gotta say, hey girl, I kind of like you, Hey, then you put your little swag down, and your swag is the part that steps over the boundaries just a little bit, And then you say, hey, sugar, I ain't gonna touch you. I ain't trying to catch no case. That's how Uncle Mike does it. Hey, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.